Welcome everyone back to North to Prem. In today's episode, we have two fixtures in the Vanamara National League. We are away, is it away? Away, yes, to Halifax, and then we are at home to Bromley. Since you last left us, we have been on quite a good run. So obviously in the first episode of the new season, after the transfer special, so the first actual league games, we did have that opening day defeat to Rochdale, but looking at the league table, that actually not ended up being that bad of a result because Rochdale have won all of their opening 9 games. So they're definitely league leaders, so losing that wasn't really that bad actually. We then beat Sutton, so then in between those games we've played a few more games in the National League and we've got quite a good run going. So we beat Aldershot away 3-1. We then had 2 massive wins, 6-2 and 5-1 over Barrow and Solihull. We then started the new month in September with another 2 victories against Barnet and then an away 1-0 win to Yeovil. We've drew our recent game at home to Dagenham and Redbridge, but overall I'd say we've got off to a really good start as a newly promoted team. As you can see, we're up in the playoffs with the likes of Hartlepool, Bromley, who we play today, Maidstone, Wealdstone. So I would say realistically, look, I mean, it's not a very strong league this year. I think Scunthorpe, I guess, Halifax are okay, Gateshead are fine. I mean, besides Hartlepool and Rochdale and maybe Bromley, that's kind of the only really big clubs. I guess Solihull, but they've had a really poor start, losing all 8 games. So they're definitely not the Solihull that I know. But really, I mean, Barnet are down there as well. So these are the teams that you'd expect to be near the top end of the National League, but they are very much in the bottom end. So I think we can definitely get playoffs this year. I think Rochdale are going to be unbelievable this year because they've won all 9 games and they're expected to finish top. So whatever they've been doing in the last couple of years has been working. But since that though, we actually have seen the emergence of a bit of a star. So we obviously signed Errol Mundell-Smith, who really didn't hit the ground running, Overton, who really didn't come in and do too much either. So then we replaced him with Jaden Williams from Tottenham, who'd left as a youngster, and he's got 9 and 7, so he's looking really good. He's already gone up to a League 2 based on our scout ideas of it. Since you last left us, we have done a little bit of transfer business, so it was the 9th of the 8th since you last left us. So since then, we have brought no one in, but we have let a couple go. So Jacob Cowler has went on loan to Eastbourne Borough in the National League South, so he's going to go over there. He's doing quite well. His contract runs out at the end of the year. Yeah, I mean, I think that's just, he's on a season-long loan. It's probably the last we're going to see of Cowler. He was good for that level, but I don't think we need him now. I think we're too good for him. And then Ben Shalner, unfortunately, just wasn't really getting used. I felt a little bit bad. I just don't think he's going to play at all in the National League. He's went to Yeovil on a £600 deal. He did actually play against us. His one appearance in the National League was actually that fixture against us, but we beat him, so clearly not fit for the National League. I don't think he is a National League level player, so but he went for £600. It was just to get players out of the team rather than saving on wages. We have had obviously we have got a little bit of money spare, and we are still trying to move on 1 or 2. Olamide Ibrahim's another one. He's just not going to play. We've got a couple others that we're trying to list or loan out. I can very much see these 2 loans getting recalled as well. So we'll see what happens, but I very much think this is the 11 that we'll be playing this season. Kamara's actually come in for Small because he's actually been quite good. Well, he's been okay, but I just think Kamara, looking at him, I was taking a look at him and I was taking a look at Small and I was like, I think Kamara's better actually. So they're both only in on season-long loans, so it doesn't really matter which one plays. So for our first of 2 games in the episode, we are away to FC Halifax in the Vanamara National League. So this is the team that we're going for. We've got Beach in goal, who, despite the dodgy start, has started to look a little bit better. A back 4 of a Hui, who's, he just doesn't look like he'd be great in the National. I guess his stats are okay. Defensively, he's a little sus, but he's still only shown as like a leading National League North player, but 7 assists in 8 games. I don't know what it is about. He's just one of them players that just something about this combination at this level. He's just absolutely lethal with assists. I mean, he's been a regular assist maker throughout every season. I mean, 26 and 39 is crazy last year. So there's really no reason to replace him, and I'm not going to replace him because he's just too good. He's just too good to drop. So the rest of the back line is Kamara, Simiu and Kazim. We then got a midfield 2 of Turner and Smith. Ahead of them is Kamani Ryan, Kiddo Taylor-Hart, who I was actually taken out of the team because he wants to leave at the end of the year, as does Simiu. But it's basically like having him on a season-long loan. I mean, yeah, would we even want him if we went up to League 2? I mean, we probably would. But yeah, he's got a little bit of interest, but no one's really been putting a bid in, so we're not going to force him out. Luca Lynch, Copley, these kind of players who've been playing a little bit in the attacking mid-role, just haven't been as good. Since he's come in, he's done really well. 3 goals, 2 assists and 7. So I think this 3 is working really well. And then Williams up top. So yeah, the rest of the 3, so Kamani Ryan, who has actually signed a new deal till the end of next year because we had a couple of clubs sniffing around him, so we got him tied down. Allport on the left, Jaden Williams up top, and then the bench looks like that. Of the new players, Sonny Davis is obviously a little bit unfortunate to miss out because he probably is a better player than Ahui, but he is very much coming into the side now as a substitute, and he's looked quite good. So if we ever do lose Ahui to injury or anything like that, he definitely seems like a good replacement. I can very much imagine Small and Overton getting their loans recalled during the season. I'm not going to use them. I just don't think we need them. With Mundell, Smith and Williams, and then Kamara, Simiu. I mean, we might use Kobe Small. Kobe Small might get used, but I don't think Overton's going to get used. So he might get recalled, which would be not unfortunate, but it's a free loan. I'm not really too fussed. I think we've got a few too many players in the club at the minute now anyway. So that's why I'm trying to move a couple on and get them out of the team. So one thing I wanted to talk about just while we do this game is FM25. So North to Prem, the idea is that the goal is to go from taking a team in the National League North to then, rising up the ranks as a manager, going through the Football League, or even, skipping a few leagues if you can. Basically, moving jobs only when you get an offer, like you probably would in real life. You wouldn't go job hunting when you're already got a club. So basically, when you get an interview, I would have the ability to move clubs, and that's the only time I can move clubs. We've established the rules in the first episode, but the only thing I'm thinking is FM25 is probably really around the corner. I've probably started this series a little bit late. So obviously I did start the football. Obviously the Football Manager channel is really just still pretty brand new. So we have just started this. So it is very much a case of trying to this was, I guess, not a test. I want to call it a test run, but I guess it was a bit of a test run just to learn obviously a little bit more about video editing and actually making the videos, just getting a little bit more used to recording videos again, and obviously editing videos and making thumbnails and stuff. And I like to think that as I've progress this series and the other videos that I've been making on the channel, that the quality in terms of like the actual video production and the actual like thumbnails, titles and all that stuff, all the stuff surrounding the video, I think all that stuff's been improving as it's going. I would say anyway. Obviously I know the sound quality's gone up massively in the microphone, so that's the big one. But I wanted to kind of do FM24 before FM25 came out, just so that I had a little bit more experienced by the time it comes round, as Kamani Ryan puts us 1-0 up. But what I am worried about is that the FM25 beta is probably going to come out sometime in October. So I'm recording this very late in August, and I think this video will probably come out in sort of early September. I am kind of thinking, will we even have enough time to finish the challenge in that time? So basically, I'm going to hopefully finish it in some way. So the idea is, if we get to FM25 beta and we still haven't finished it, we'll just have to say, okay, we did our best, but we just ran out of time, and that would just be the end of it. If we can lower the goal a little bit, my goal now, just because we are on a time constraint, is to try and just get to the Premier League. Not necessarily win a Premier League, but if we can just get to a Premier League, whether that's just through taking a job, as Jaden Williams puts us 2-0 up, we're just so good. I mean, if we keep playing like this, maybe we'll get to the Premier League quicker than I think, but I know Peterborough Sports, they're going to hit a level where, yeah, I don't know. I just think we'll hit a bit of a ceiling, but so we definitely need to move clubs. But one thing I've noticed in FM24, I don't tend to get a lot of job interviews until you're good. As a lower league manager, you don't seem to get really many interviews, and that's probably because lower league clubs, as Allport puts us 3-0 up, it's probably because lower league clubs don't have the money to actually pay out your contract, whereas teams kind of further up probably do have the money to buy out contracts. So that's probably where that comes from, actually. I was just thinking about that. So yeah, so I think the goal, I'm going to scale it back a little bit and say, if we can get to the Premier League, that's going to be, for me, that to me is going to be an acceptable end point just for this one. But for every other North to Prem, because I'm planning on doing it for FM25, so the idea is obviously I would do it at the start of FM25, not in the beta, but when the actual full release drops, which is usually around mid to late November based on history. But I don't know if they're going to even do a beta this year, with it being obviously it's a different game. They might not do a beta at all, which would give us a little bit more time to obviously to do this save. We'll make a couple subs now. 3-0 up, it's been easy. We'll bring Mundell Smith on, we'll bring Sonny Davis on, and let's bring Luca Lynch on, because we are trying to train him up to be a deep lying playmaker. But yeah, easy game. We've walked this as you would expect. Halifax are down in lower mid-table, so you would expect that, to be fair. They are only 3 points away from the drop, so you would expect us to win this. But we've been really good. Just 5 points behind Rochdale now. I mean, I'm not saying the title's out of shot. We definitely in good form ourselves. They've won every game so far, so they're gonna have to drop off a little bit before we can even think about trying to close the gap. But as long as we keep winning games, I think if we got in the playoffs, I think we'd have a good chance. You see, the playoffs are hard because you're talking a one-off game, but I feel like with higher level playoffs, it's a little bit easier because, like, think of like the championship or something. It's 2 games plus you get 2 legs in the first game. So even if you kind of mess up the first match, you can kind of correct yourself in the second leg. And then obviously you've just got a final, which is difficult. But whereas with the National League ones, you've got to win 3 games on the bounce unless you finish in the top 3. Then you've only got 2 games to win, which I think we will finish second at least. I think we're doing really well. I think we've bought really well. We've loaned in where we need to. I'm not worried. I think it's going to be a bit of not a cakewalk season. I don't want to say that because I think it won't be that easy, but I do think we'll obviously have some tough games and stuff. But I do think because we had probably that second season in the National League North, we were really ready to come up into this league, and I think it's shown because a lot of the players we were signing were almost League 2 quality, which was crazy. But I think one thing we're always good at in North to Prem is signing players. So yeah, so that was it. 4-0 win over Halifax. Really good stuff. But yeah, I just want to finish that point off. So I'm thinking the aim, if we can get to the Premier League, then I'm going to consider that a good aim goal for this. If we get to that before the beta comes out, then I'll very much continue it and try and actually win the Premier League. If we don't get to either of those goals before the beta comes out, then we're just going to say we ran out of time, and we'll obviously do it again in FM25. But obviously, because I started this so late into the FM cycle, I've kind of hamstrung myself a little bit on the time. What I will plan to do is actually do bigger gaps in between episodes. So instead of just doing like 3 or 4 games between our videos, I'm going to do like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games in between episodes. So the idea is we could probably get through a season in 2 weeks or something like that, which may be enough time. I don't know. We'll see. But good win there. Let's go to the second game. So before our second game of the episode to Bromley, we do have a couple bits of business. So Yeovil have signed Olamide Ibrahim, so he's gone there on a free. We're not going to use him. I don't know why they're consistently signing players who aren't good enough for the National League. They're up in 9th, but I mean, Ben Challoner's down here. It doesn't even seem like they're going to be playing them. So £675 a week to just be a fringe player. They are not spending their money wisely. That's crazy stuff. But yeah, so he's off our wage bill, so we have got a little bit more money. Luca Gunter's got a couple offers, from a couple of teams further up the leagues. 26.5 grand. We're not going to use him. He's third choice. He doesn't have that much potential where it's worth keeping him. He's only got League 2 potential, so it's nothing crazy. So with Luke Ashby Hammond happy as our backup, we really don't need a third choice goalkeeper. And we can always recall... can we recall him? No, we can't. Okay, loan cannot be terminated. Great. So we can't recall Cowler, so I guess he's just kind of gone as well. So we'd really have to just rely on him being the backup. But he looks quite good, even if he was the backup. So he was actually expected to sign as a first choice player when we first signed him. So I'm not too worried about that. So he's on his way there. We do have a little bit more money. I just don't think we need to sign anyone. Like, the only position I'm really looking at is defensive midfielder, because Stephen Turner's not really good enough for the level. And he's not really getting any better. He's actually getting worse, which is weird. But he's playing okay. He's fine. So I don't really see a need to improve anywhere in the squad. We're doing quite well, and yeah, I mean, we're doing well, and yeah, I just don't see a need to change anything. So yeah, I won't. So we'll probably just keep the money until someone really good comes up that we can't pass on. So the only thing I am worried about is for next year, centre backs. So obviously we've got 2 on loan and Simeon, who's leaving at the end of the year. So we will be a little bit short next year, but this year we're fine, so I'm not too worried about it. The other piece of business we've done is we have actually signed a new deal. So we signed a new deal with the club on an extra whole, get ready, £25 a week till the end of next season. So not this season, next season. So we've got a new deal there. So we're tied down to the club. I don't think we'd have any offers anyway. We are still doing our coaching course, so our reputation hasn't gone up crazy yet. Yeah, I think we're probably at Peterborough Sports for the foreseeable future. I don't see anyone else really coming in for us at the minute, so we'll just keep going as we are. But yeah, so for our second game of the episode, we are at home to Bromley, so we're just going to play the exact same 11 that beat Halifax 4-0. Why would we change it? There is literally no need to change it. I feel like I'm kind of on cruise control with this season. I feel like the last 2 seasons have been cruise control. The first season there was quite a bit of a work to do because Peterborough Sports were in a really poor place. But these 2 seasons, I just feel like I'm on cruise control. We're absolutely flying. Bromley is going to be a tougher game, though. They are 3rd in the league. So if we can get a win here, I think we're really going to establish ourselves as fighting for the title. Because as much as I'm saying Rochdale are up there, it only takes a couple. I've seen enough times where a team have topped the National League for quite a lot of the season, then just fell off near the end. Especially in that Christmas period, it can really get you. Christmas and January can really mess you up around this time because you just get injuries and fixture congestion. Even in the early season, there's like that Bank Holiday Monday game, which is crazy. That's even a thing. Yeah, I just think that's crazy. Even in real life, I think that's a bit ridiculous that you should play a Saturday and a Monday. That's too much. But we do go 1-0 up. Well, I thought we did. But MJ Kamara put it in the back of the net, but he must have been offside because it's been ruled offside by the linesman. And the linesmen are never wrong, are they? To be fair, there is actually, Hartlepool are just behind us as well with only 1 point. So it's only, it's definitely not a given that we'd be in the title challenge alone. I do think realistically, if we could finish in the playoffs, that's a good finish for us. Yeah, I just think it's going to be a bit of a cruise control season, and really, unless Rochdale fall off, it's probably not going to be overly exciting until we get to the end of the season. We actually do the playoffs, so I am going to play, I think, quite a lot of these games in between because I just don't think we're not really in a relegation. Well, that actually could make a big difference. Errol Mundle-Smith's just been injured, so I really should just show up. Jaden Williams has been injured. We'll bring out Errol Mundle-Smith on for him, who's not been good. He's not been good at all. So hopefully that's not a bad injury because he has been incredible and he's been a big part of why we've been really good. Hopefully Errol Mundle-Smith can get to full fitness in this time if he is going to be out. Well, there he is, Errol Mundle-Smith, doing the business just when he's needed. He's not been great. He's not had a good start to his career as a Peterborough Sports striker, but he's done well there. He's got on the end of a mistake and just calmly headed it into the back of the net to get his first goal for Peterborough Sports and to give our first goal in the match. Peterborough Sports 1, Bromley 0, and it looks like we are going to take a little bit of momentum from that as we are looking for a second as Kazim plays it into Kamani Ryan, but his effort is way over the bar. Why has he hit it so hard? I'll never know, but yeah, 1-0 at the half time. We're looking good. Again, we're just looking really strong and looking really solid, so we don't really need to change anything. We'll just keep going as we are. I don't think Bromley have even had a shot on target. They've not even had a shot, never mind a shot on target. So I'm not really too concerned about them at the minute. We're looking good though. I think the only positions I would really want to improve on is maybe a centre-back, just someone that will have for more than this season, and then a defensive midfielder, a ball-winning midfielder. We've had a number of players come in on trial to try and fill that role, but they either just aren't very good, they're actually not really any better than Stephen Turner and older, or they just want like crazy money, like $1.5 grand a week. We aren't offering that at this level. We are very much capping out at around £700-800 a week. That is very much our max that we'd be willing to spend, and that has to be on a really good player. As Ahui does Ahui things, but Mundle-Smith's effort from just a couple inches out is blocked by the goalkeeper. But Ahui has been incredible this year again. I don't need to replace him because you'd look at him and go, hey, he's not really a National League level player, but look at him. He's on an 8.1 now, so he's 8.2, but he always gets a good rating. Now he's back up to an 8.2, so he must have done something else good. But there's never a reason to replace him because he's just always good. As Taylor Hart plays it in, I thought Mundle-Smith, was going to get on the end of it, another one there, but he doesn't. It is only 1-0, so we are definitely doing well, but the shots on target have been a little bit poor. It seems like the three behind the striker have not been at their best today, but we have created a bit of a gap if we can see this out. I'm not going to make any changes just because it is pretty tight, and I think we should best leave our best players on, but it looks like we are going to walk out of this with the win. Another win, back-to-back wins there. Mundle-Smith doing the business for us. We needed a goal, and he came on and got the goal. It was a tight affair, but they're in third, so it's no shame in it just being a tight game. I mean, we actually have the best goal difference in the league as well. How did Rochdale? Yeah, they were pretty comfortable. It was a 95th minute goal. I was going to say they only won 3-2, but it was 95th minute, so it was pretty much them just switching off at the end. So 5 points behind the title. I mean, you're only talking a couple drop points, and when we win, and we're back up there. So yeah, I think playoffs is a bare minimum. I think top 3 is a bare minimum. But maybe we could go for the title. It just depends on if Rochdale fall off. So we'll see. We'll play some games in between. I'm not sure. I haven't really looked. I'm not sure when we'll come back. We won't play the cup. We won't come back for the FA Cup. We'll probably play all of October. What is that? 5 games. Just thinking, should we come back for... Do we play... I was going to say, we don't play Rochdale till December. I think let's do... That's not enough games. Do we come back for the Rochdale? That's a lot of games to play in between. We might come back for the Rochdale game. I'm not sure. I'm either thinking we'll come back around here, or we'll just come back for the Rochdale. Hartlepool. No, that's too close to Rochdale, because we need to... just thinking. So we'll definitely play all of these. Do we want to come back for Spennymoor? But then that's not much of a gap. Just thinking. Crawley. They newly relegated? They must be. Yeah. Oh, they were here last year as well. I don't know. I'll have a think about it. We'll probably come back round somewhere around here, unless I'll just go all the way to Rochdale in December. But yeah, I'll have a think about it, and then you'll know in the next video, I guess. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode of North to Prem. Hope you're enjoying North to Prem as a series, and I'll see you all for more Football Manager videos very soon.